All right, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's now, geez, just set my watch timer up. It's 6:41, so we're behind schedule. Not that I expected this to be a long meeting. We now have a quorum present. There are 6 voting members of the committee in attendance. I'll make a note of who we got. Greg Balassi, Bill Hull, myself, Mark Betancourt, Stacy Gould, and Joe DeLucia, city council members. So, and Cindy Beauregard. So, so what I need is you should have gotten an email regarding the last minutes. So I need approval of. Do you have the what's the date? Yeah, June 28th. Yeah, June 28th special, I think. So I'll need a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the June 28th meeting.
Motion made by Stacy Gould. Can I get a second?
Yes, I second. Greg Balassi. I wasn't there.
Thank you. Any additions, corrections, or deletions from the minutes? Hearing none, I did not note at the beginning of the meeting, we're holding this as a hybrid. Therefore, you know, all votes taken are going to be under roll call. And the meeting is being recorded, as anyone who came in online would know. So we now have Cindy with us in person. So that's a good thing. And we'll I'll do the roll call. We'll do the ones online first. Stacy Gould.
Yes.
Joe DeLucia.
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy.
Here.
No, it's for the minutes. For the minutes? Yes.
Yes.
Approve the minutes. Greg?
Yes.
Bill?
I'll abstain.
You'll abstain, that's fine, and myself, yes. So the minutes are stand approved. I don't know if there's anyone here that wanted to make public comment. We'll ask. If you're online, you can raise your hand. If you're even just unmute and shout out a little bit, or anyone here present. We do have some folks here that are interested in the proceedings. Hearing none, I will move on. So I'll ask Greg if there's any update to what we've been dealing with. Did you issue a final written report?
We have not issued that yet. We will get that out to you.
So that's the only question I really had. So, okay. So, so I'd request that from DRA when we can. Obviously, we have a pretty good idea of what's in it after doing all this. Obviously, we're well along in that process. So I'll go right to number 5 on the agenda, discussion regarding referendum. So as a lot of you know that you were here during, open this thing up again. You were here online Thursday regarding the what we can and can't do to the referendum regarding the referendum. So I don't now I'm not an attorney, but so we do. But I did want to say that we do have to be a little careful in what we do. We obviously can't expend funds in support of a position in the referendum. That would result in potentially whoever did or made that kind of mistake. So could result in a fine of up to $1,000. Could result in some other enforcement action. So we definitely don't want to go there. So they did talk about some test cases and whatever, but the long and short of it is almost, if you use any kind of city resource to promote the passage of the referendum, then we got a problem. So that is something obviously we're going to avoid. I'm going to tell you that we should be, I am not sure, Josh, did you ever send out a final on the, I know you sent out a draft of the explanatory text. Did you send out a final?
I don't know whether I sent you the final explanatory text. It's being Betsy Barrett, the city clerk, is circulating. She's having the posters printed up, but it's pretty much the draft that I had circulated minus the last, paragraph or two. Tomorrow I can send you the final explanatory text if you want to get that out to members.
Yeah, please. So I also Jackie just sent me this afternoon the slides from the presentation on Thursday. So I'll be sharing that with the committee also. So Josh, if you can get that to me, I appreciate it. 'Cause I was wondering about some of that. I thought maybe they might carve some of that down a little bit. Does anyone, so I know the city council members were there. I know some of the Board of Ed people were there, Mark Kulos and stuff. That was the major piece. Mark and I exchanged emails today about that. And I wanted to see just if anyone else had any questions about that as far as what we can or can't do. Superintendent Stringfellow did ask for the slides, which I'll forward to her probably when I get home, and to the committee. So there was one big point to be made regarding this, and that was that but just because there's this prohibition on spending resources, it doesn't mean that we as individuals lose our right to free speech or to be able to support it as individuals. But we're limited in that support. So there is another option too. Also, obviously, some of you are aware of the possibility of that some group of people could form a PAC and raise some funds and use that to support the referendum. That's a possibility. Although I don't personally have any plans regarding that. But that could happen. The other, I don't know if there's anyone else with any other questions regarding this whole thing. No, I'll open the floor for that for discussion.
Well, the only funds you can't expend,
Bill Hall, by the way.
sorry, is if you are using town funds.
Right.
You can expend funds, but you cannot use anything from school or the town
Right.
to do.
So I know early in the process, it was suggested that maybe that the school print flyers or the board of the school system or whatever and send them to the people and whatever. No, that would be a big no. So that you can't do. So we're not going to obviously do anything like that.
But you could print flyers and give them to schools to send out,
Right.
as long as there's a policy
Right.
that they allow that.
Yeah. So right, and that's also when I talk about the explanatory text. It would just include the explanatory text. I wouldn't, nothing that could be deemed as to be promoting a plus or minus on the issue.
Well, as long as those funds are expended from somebody, you got to be careful because then it becomes a political action also.
Right.
You have to be careful on that.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't think that's probably taking. I keep on hitting the button on the side. I think you gotta be a little careful with that stuff. So I would, anything if it comes to anything like that, to be honest with you, I'm gonna run through council anyway. And I'm not gonna take any.
Well, I think your greatest supporters are going to be your PTO.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you're holding an ace in the hole, that because the buildings have to meet certain security things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a point that you want to emphasize. I think there was a correspondence committee that was formed.
Right.
So maybe one of the things we could do is print out the talking points that we all want to get out, so, and we all use the same talking points. I think that, you know, besides security, the number one other main point is you're going to get 70% back from the state.
All right, can you refresh my recollection, because it's been a while? I mean, maybe we never really set anything up. Who's the volunteers? Do you remember?
There were about 3 or 4 people who
Yeah,
went on.
the 3 other people I know.
Yeah, but
Sure.
I wouldn't mind putting some things together, talking points, sending it out for everybody. And then there's letters to the editors,
Right.
that we can all do.
Well, I think there's a possibility that, I mean, we can do some things. I think because the day still writes editorial. The bulletin generally, you don't see that anymore with them, not real editorial.
Not really, but I also found that if you write the news story,
Yeah.
right, people print it because it's something to fill the paper on both sides. But I also think PTOs is something that we need to get to, whether it's 1 or 2 members of the committee getting there, or having one big PTO gathering where we can put it out to them, because they're going to be, the parents are going to be the number 1 supporters of the
Right.
project.
Again, we do have to be a little careful with that. You know, it's one thing to show up at one of their scheduled meetings and stuff, but it's to have them hold anything special would not, I don't think, wouldn't be appropriate.
As long as you're not expending funds.
Yeah. No, see, using any resources, building, whatever, that's a problem.
I think you can use the building as long as there's a policy that anybody can use the building.
Yeah.
If it's not,
Yeah, there is.
that's a whole other.
Especially these days.
So.
I'll talk to the Board of Ed members. See where we go with that, but I certainly, I think reaching out to the PTO people though is definitely worthwhile and should do.
And in the old days, schools weren't allowed to send anything home, nothing at all. So I guess the law has changed that you can put out
I don't
time
think
and
it's changed.
date.
I think the interpretation's changed.
Well, then when that is sent out, becomes important. You want to send it out the night before the referendum or the night before the election and let people know there's a referendum tomorrow. Time, place, go. It's all about timing. And especially if you're talking about the 355 or whatever $1 million, that's a turnoff. So I think we need to change the language from, it's not 355, it's 70.
Well, that's
70%.
right. So the explanatory text, I believe, Josh, if I assume the final explanatory text, Josh, talks about, you know, what the city's anticipated portion is.
Yeah.
So
That's the key figure,
yeah.
right? Because if
And
you
it's a wide range, you know, because we really, until I anticipate approaching state legislators and trying to reduce that number. So,
well, Kathy Austin
Right,
is on approps.
I think she chairs a pro.
Yeah, she is. She's the senator here, and it's done all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know
Done
for
all
Kelly,
the
I know we did it for Kelly. We had a special act and the whole, you know, at the end, in fact, we had to go back twice because they screwed up the first one. But so it's not anything unusual. All right, Joe DeLucia.
So 2 weeks ago, thereabouts, a meeting was held in the city manager's office with Representative Ryan, Senator Austin, city manager, the mayor, handful of other people. I don't know if Josh was there for that meeting, but that was kind of an organizational meeting for the purpose that you're discussing, for the follow up with the state through legislation to increase our reimbursement rate and find other monies for this project.
Okay.
So that ball is rolling. I mean, certainly we want to keep, we want to give it a shove, but the,
Yeah, we can't make any promises, obviously, but
right.
certainly we want to, we're going to pursue that as an option. Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? Hi. Yes. Started at 6:30. You check back and I don't think we'll be long. It'll be 15. Oh, all right. We have this room booked in perpetuity on this time, so, and they're trying to get out of the basement. That was Deanna Rhodes there. It's like we have a conflict. This was probably their setup. So, whatever. All right, is there anyone that wants to add anything regarding the referendum issue? Like I said, I'm gonna send out the slides to the members of the committee. And I'll have to check the minutes. I just want to get who volunteered for that communications committee, and I'll talk to Bill and Bill Hall, and we'll get that something going on there. But does anyone have anything else they want to bring up? We might be done now. Something we want to go grab Deanna. Anything else? Anybody have anything else you want to bring up to the committee? Somebody raise a hand? Anyone online? No? Hearing that, then the motion to adjourn would be in order. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, so let me just say one thing, yeah. So we did send
Meeting schedule?
the school building committee, we did schedule the meetings out for 2023, but obviously that's going to depend on what happens in November. If the referendum fails, there won't be any reason. So we'll go from there. I do not know if we have any need to meet next month. I'm going to play that by ear. And we'll talk about as far as communications goes, if we need to get together. And those of you that, if you think we do or whatever, just get back with me and we'll talk about it.
I think you do.
You think we do?
I think you do, because that's going to be the final push to get over the referendum.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
I should suggest we do go over the talking points.
Yep.
And be able to, and then coordinate how.
Well, the meeting is scheduled. It's on the schedule, so it shouldn't be. Anyone have anything else? So now the motion to adjourn, Stacy. Isn't that your ballot?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by Bill Hall. It's almost like tradition.
Right.
Roll call vote is in order. Let's see. Stacy,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Bill Hall.
Yes.
Yes. Cindy Go.
Yes.
Cindy Go. And adjourn at 7 p.m. exactly. Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.